All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Hey, I see Juan Williams and Brian Stark out there. Thanks for joining us. So the presentation I have here ready is geared for consultants, but I'm going to talk about contractors as well as I navigate through the slides. So again, just restating what Chiron said. So why are we here? We had a 2018 disparity study that showed that only Black American-owned business was getting 0.1% of all the highway construction dollars. So that's not very good. So that study recommended the creation of a mentor protege program. So at the federal level, hey, all DBEs are equal, but now that we have a disparity study on the state level, that's how we're able to provide equity to Black American-owned firms, and we call that underutilized firms, and that's all based upon the disparity study. So heck of progress here. We're doing great, but hey, we want to do what I'm showing you here on the screen times 10 here. So we're just getting started. So on the consultant side, we had 20 agreements awarded. I'd say another success story, ProRank Academy, and all the folks that work there, great job, and the tools that they're providing. We have one additional consultant add in process, two more to follow. We held industry forums. We are going to get better with the forums. We had Pathways to PennDOT events, and it was more of a showing our commitment to the importance of diversity. But what we're going to move into is more of the actual speed dating events that we'll call it. So we had a successful one in June in District 6 that we thought was pretty interesting, where we actually had DBEs get in front of the room, say, hey, I'm looking for work codes X, Y, and Z. And then we had contractors get up to say, hey, I'm looking for subcontractors, that DBEs that could do X, Y, and Z. And we try to force that hand holding together. We have another one scheduled for, I think, October 6th in the Western region. Those invites were just sent out last week. If you didn't get any, get a hold of ProRank and we could send you the invite. We're glad to have you there. That again, those are just on the construction side for those forums. All right, so look at this. Out of those 20 agreements that are awarded, what do we got? Like 17 times an underutilized firm was on the team. So that's great news, great success there. These, I get up and present, or people call me saying, hey, there's not enough underutilized firms available, because we created a process to encourage participation of underutilized firms on your team. And so I had my consultant support team run the data, and look, there's plenty of underutilized firms out there to provide various services to prime consultants. These were the mentoring firms to date that have been awarded the projects. So thank you to all those firms on the screen there that have been participating in the process. So under the existing program for Mentor Protege, we asked each district to go out with 2 projects each on the consultant side, and we didn't specify what type of work it had to be, but most districts chose to do small bridge projects. So I'm going to get later on the presentation, we're going to expand and open up this process to more than just bridge design. On the construction side, a little bit more challenging because we're dealing with ECMS work pre-qualification codes. And so I mentioned, or Kai had mentioned to say, hey, if you're a service supplier, hey, we don't have mentors available. So we're still working our way through that. We do have, I'd say, a recent policy change that I want to market, and it was just due to Juan Williams on the line here escalating a barrier that is encountered to him. So the existing policy or prior policy said that on the construction side, the contractor could get $25,000 for participating to go through the program and mentoring various proteges. So now we opened the policy up that the prime could allow that money to go to their DBE subcontractor for doing the work. So we'd heard in the past that it was a barrier that after prime contractors submit their bids, they don't have additional money to bring on additional DBEs to help. So this eliminates that barrier by allowing a $25,000 pot of money that the prime and the contractor could work together to help get that pre-qualification code. So on the service supplier side, yep, it's a little bit more challenging. We're trying to help Brian Stark. So what needs to happen is we need to be able to find a prime contractor who's willing to utilize that $25,000, but get the service supplier work code experience outside of an ECMS project, just because you have to have prior experience to work outside of PennDOT in order to get that first pre-qualification code. So again, we do have a process available for service suppliers, but it is a little more challenging if you don't have that first ECMS work code. All right, so where we headed, what's the current status. So Deb Allen, who's also on the line here, we're both leading the creation of a new disparity study. So BBC is the contractor who has that study. That's the same vendor who did our past 5-year study. I don't anticipate the results, again, being that good just because it took a couple years and we got delayed due to COVID to create a process here. So it's probably going to be the next 5-year period until we actually see underutilized firms showing up in a disparity study, just because it's a 5-year in the past study. But be aware that there is a study going on. We want to, it's all about continual improvement here with Protege. So we've been working on started research probably in 2019, implemented a program. It's about a year old, but we did revisioning sessions with the consultant community and the contracting community. We don't have to go to other states to hear what other states are doing. All you have to do is listen to the people in Pennsylvania, our own contractors, and hear what the barriers are. So I'm going to go ahead and present some of those ideas to you. So again, we're just getting started here. We're going to establish an advisory board and focus groups just to continually meet, making sure we're heading in the right direction. And so again, I mentioned we mainly focus on small bridge design projects. We're going to open that up to bridge inspection and construction inspection projects here. Also, each district is to go out with a SBE set-aside program. So SBE is the federal term for small business, but on DBEs are also SBEs. So if you're a consultant DBE out there, what that means is the DBE will have to be the prime on those consultant contracts that go out the door. So I believe District 8 was going to have our first one. They want to do construction inspection. So a DBE is going to have to prime that construction inspection agreement. So pretty neat stuff coming here. Also, we're going to look into commercial use function, and just we need to do better marketing on the contractor side, that, hey, we are allowed to do equipment sharing, where it's not called a waiver of commercial use function. It's just, as part of the Mentor Protege program, you're allowed to share equipment and services. You just need to declare it as part of the work plan process through ProRank Academy. So we want to do market videos and show that, hey, it's okay. It's because there are certain people out there on the contractor side, they're still afraid to participate because they're still scared about commercial use function. ProRank Academy, so ProRank has been presenting here some updates. Cameron has additional ones that he shared with me, new videos that of additional upgrades that they made to ProRank Academy that make the process easier to navigate. All right, so we want to make phone calls to everybody who's on the existing Mentor Protege program, whether it be the prime or the sub or the district offices, make sure everything's going okay. We want to make sure we're successful. We want to coordinate with Governor Shapiro's executive orders. He just issued 2 executive orders and is a strong push for workforce development. So we're glad to be part of that program. Now, whenever I say railroad flagging and apprenticeship program, this isn't necessarily Mentor Protege, but we are also looking at on the job training program and just some other apprenticeship programs outside of Mentor Protege. So what we're trying to figure out if we could work with Norfolk Southern to expand the pool of pre-qualified vendors that could do flagging services on their right of way. And we want to just open that up for DBEs and allow DBEs to corner that market. Again, even outside of Mentor Protege and project based, we want to have an apprenticeship program just to help DBEs become pre-qualified so they could take various construction and NBIS, the NECEP courses, et cetera. And we'll pay for that and provide free training just to help get qualifying. And then, so I mentioned railroad flagging, but we're not going to limit to railroad flagging. Can we maybe increase the classifications on the job training program and allow for different flagging steps within the OJT program? So these are all ideas that the DBE community has been providing me, and we want to start to implement some of these. Long term, meaning 1 year, it's my goal here to automate ECMS to get DBEs being paid faster. What's intriguing to me on the construction side, you could literally get paid every week and submit invoices, but on the consultant side, they're only submitting invoices once a month, and they may not choose to submit an invoice. So there's a disparity between the construction side and the consultant side. So I want to study that and implement automate changes in ECMS to get everybody paid faster. Another goal of ours is to maybe create a DBE officer, a requirement as part of a construction project. So it's already required on design build projects. There needs to be a special provision or a contract specification that the contractor is required to have a DBE officer. So that could be, somebody has a NAICS code and civil rights and require that as part of the contract. So maybe if we're successful on the design build projects, we open that up and pilot it on just regular projects. So they could help track prompt payment. They could reach out to the community during the project or before the project. Maybe they could also help with recruiting and on the job training. So we're developing a specification for that now. And then again, success is just the continual process here, partnering with the Turnpike, establishing long-term business relationships, and not actually having to require our district offices to go out with special mentor protege projects. Hopefully in the future, it just happens automatically that underutilized firms and DBEs are part of the projects. So that's the long-term goal there. This is just one stuffer. The other thing that I'm adding, if you take training through ECMS training calendar, we are moving to a credit card system, so you no longer have to send checks in through the mail. So that's my brief update. Let me touch on that one question that we got as far as mentors for providing estimates. So that's another item. Good question. I didn't have that on my slides, but that's something we need to improve upon. So I have under contract now consultants and contractors who are available to mentor both. Well, whenever we go out for projects, that's called project-based mentoring. So whenever you're teamed with a prime consultant or a prime contractor, that's project-based mentorings. But we also have contractors and consultants that we call non-project-based mentors, and we have them on contract now to provide to DBEs who need that help. So absolutely, we'll establish a process where if you need help with bidding, we'll assign you a contract-based mentor, and they could help provide that service to you. And then also we like to create videos so that way ProRank could just put the video up on the screen every time we get a new idea or new training we want to put on. So those mentors, we want to make them available on the contracting side and the consultant side moving forward. So that's what I got there, Conrad. I'll kick it back to you.